Welcome to the Crypto and Blockchain Talk.
Hello.
Hey.
Guten Tag.
Aloha.
Terra. Shalom.
Hello.
Namaste.
Ni hao.
Privet.
Hello.
Salut. Yassas.
Salve.
Ciao.
Bonjour. Our podcast talks about the latest trends in the worlds of cryptocurrencies and the blockchain. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Crypto and Blockchain Talk. I have to tell you, it's going to be another hysterical episode because I have none other than the most wonderful Carmen Siegenbein with us. And Carmen is an expert on everything to do with crypto crime, cyber crime, crime, you name it. If it's hidden and you're law enforcement or just somebody in the crypto community and you want to know how to get into the world and how to discover more information about how to uncover crimes and how to understand how crypto is used in crimes, then you should not only be turning to Carmen Siegenbein, but you should also be listening and tuning into his series, which is available on Academy Carmen. Is that right, Carmen?
Yes, that is right.
Okay.
That is right. Yes.
So
oh my gosh.
before we go any further, and I've already spoke to him, so you can hear he's here. Hello, Carmen. How are you?
I am so good, and hearing all these lies about me makes me feel younger, stronger, better looking, and also so much smarter. Don't worry. If you send me a case, I won't take it if it's not a good case. So don't you worry about it.
Well, listen, we have spoken to Carmen on many of the podcasts here. You can just, if you go to Crypto and Blockchain Talk, you put in Carmen's name, they'll all come up. There's a lot of podcasts I've done with Carmen, and there's a good reason for it because A, he's funny as heck. B, he's very knowledgeable. And the third thing is because we really have some deep insight into a lot of the information that we're actually giving here. We look at the topics and we really try to give a really broad introspective into what's happening and how it's happened. And we really like to dive deep. So without any further ado, let me set the scene first. So there's a woman in America. She actually ran for president. Her name is Tulsi Gabbard. And Tulsi she made a YouTube short basically where she was saying that the United States has set themselves on a path of entering into nuclear war with Russia if they keep going the way they're going. And then, so the actual name of the clip on YouTube is called "Warmongers Have Set Us on a Path of Nuclear War with Russia." So that came up for some reason. I don't know why, because I promise you, listeners, I'm not interested in any of this political BS. I don't have any of that I normally watch. But for some reason, this showed up in my feed. And I watched it. And it was interesting. You get to watch people. Basically, what happened was some years ago in Hawaii, by mistake, the nuclear warning signal was given to the entire island. And they were told they only had like 10 or 20 minutes left before a nuclear warhead was going to hit Hawaii, the great island, the big island. And people basically lost their minds and they were running it's really sad and it makes you quite sick and it makes you think really deeply about if you were in that situation. So, and there's plenty of videos on just that alone. All you have to do is look at the false nuclear warning given in Hawaii and I'm sure tons of videos will show up. So she just made this video and I thought to myself, it's quite interesting because how do you prep for something like this? I actually sat there and I thought about this. I am a little bit of a I don't want to say, oh no, maybe that doesn't sound good. It sounds like I'm a negative person. It sounds like I'm panicking about stuff. And I'm not a doomsdayer as such, but I have thought once in a while, and like I did after I saw this video, I thought, if this did happen, what would be the right way to prep for it outside of the normal things, such as making sure you have like one of these go bags, which is basically like a knapsack with, some clothes and a water filter in it. And God only knows what else, there's like lists you can drive on the internet that you can print out and, you can just make your own go bag. I thought to myself, in terms of anything else, when you're talking about money and how money's supposed to work, and if there is a nuclear war, I mean, there's really no electricity, which we've talked about before, haven't we, Carmen? So, Carmen, how do you crypto prep?
That's a really good question. So if we don't have any electricity at all, which shouldn't really happening. So when they do like let's say they do a tactical nuclear bomb or use a tactical nuclear weapon, then it'd be only a certain area where we don't have any electricity. Of course, now when we say a certain area, like in Florida, for example, we have a hurricane. There's a hurricane like 200 miles away from us, and we don't have electricity down there. So it's, it's all a little bit of a gamble. But it's probably most likely, let's say America would get attacked. I don't think that the whole country would lose electricity. I don't think that's the case. So meaning also, let's say even America gets attacked, America gets damaged a lot, Europe gets damaged a lot. There needs to be a form of, money there. So what do we use? Do we have fiat? Can they use fiat? If we have a big war, then I would assume, that's just my assumption, I've never been to a big war, but I'm thinking that everything is kind of collapsing. The stock market will collapse. Of course, we probably won't have one at that time anymore, or whatever is left. There's no money, or, how would you even do this? The banks don't work. Banks don't work most of the time right now, and we have electricity. So crypto might be actually a good way to do it or to survive it. So, of course, now transaction throughputs are kind of garbage with Bitcoin, crappy with Ethereum, kind of good actually and cheap with Binance or Binance Smart Chain. Good way would be to get crypto and to have crypto. So let's say you want to prep. Of course, do your, get the backpack ready, have some food. Don't get all crazy like some of the preppers. And doomsday things that you see in YouTube. YouTube is right now full with doomsdays, like World War III and 48 hours. I'm not going to name it. It was like, I think Canadian Prepper out, 48 hours, and it's going to, woo. And it's just to get more views or so. So anyway, so don't get all the way too excited, but prepare a little bit. But if there's a nuclear war or nuclear bomb hitting you, I mean, you can go underground, you can be prepping, but what's the point? I mean, I'm just saying, Having said that now, for crypto, get yourself a portfolio and maybe get yourself a little bit of Bitcoin, a little bit of something, that runs on the Binance Smart Chain maybe, and some ETH and some other stuff, and then put it in an offline wallet. And an offline wallet, you got a hardware wallet, but hardware wallets, like I always say, they're kind of garbage. So like Ledger, anything that comes from Ledger, for example, do not touch. And when you watch like YouTube videos, pretty much everybody and their mother says Ledger, Trezor, all these YouTubers, you can throw them in a junkyard too. The Ledger always gets hacked and it's always garbage, especially through the browsers. MetaMask too, so you're going to have to be careful with that one as well. But MetaMask is still a good one. But if you look at hardware wallets, Bitbox is good. Depends really, this one is made in Swiss, so it's not going to take you forever until you get it. But that's a good one too. That's the only good one I'm thinking right now of if you want to get a hardware wallet. Get the Bitbox from Switzerland. So that's one good one. But ignore the other two. And Trezor is a wonderful one. I love the Trezor guys, but it's still not really super. So if you want to, you can get a hardware wallet. Another way is what I always recommend is kind of like a paper wallet. It's like an Ian Coleman, just put Ian Coleman in Google and you're going to find the website and you just create an offline wallet in there. And it's like a script. What you do is you go to the website or you go to GitHub or somewhere, get the script, buy yourself a brand new thumb drive, put the script or the kind of like website, whatever you have, put on that thumb drive, get yourself a computer. You can use an old one. If you wipe, it's better if you use a new hard drive in there. I have to say that because if you use an old one, there can still be some stuff in there, even if you wipe it because there's shadow copies on there and stuff like this. So use a brand new one. If you brand new hard drive, for example, put it on an old desktop, throw it in there, no network card, put the script with a thumb drive on it. And again, thumb drive, use a brand new thumb drive. And here, while we're talking about it quickly, one big lesson to learn if you don't want to lose your stuff, two things that really have nothing to do with it, but I'm throwing it out anywhere. Do not take ever any thumb drives from anybody, okay? This is really, really important because there's a lot of things where, thumb drives actually can get into your computer or data. The second thing is don't take any cables from anybody. And when I say cables, like your iPhone cable to charge your iPhone, to charge your Android, to whatever, to anything that has to do with USB. Don't take it from anybody else. And if you buy it, try not to buy from Amazon and try not to buy the cheap ones, okay? There's these cables like, we can use them for testing, they're OMG cables, and you plug in these cables, and they're kind of like they're acting like a keyboard. And then, you have like a keylogger in there, and you get all of the you want. So you don't want to do that. Plus, you get the Wi-Fi. So you don't want to do that. So you're going to get yourself some offline wallets, get them ready, and then you can go, for example, to make it really easy, you don't have to get that sophisticated. You just get a Coinbase account or something like this. And if you're in America, Coinbase might be the easiest and best bet for it because it's really quick. If you are outside of America, I like Binance as well. And just to get crypto there, move it into these offline wallets. Binance in America is very difficult and very limited. So for American users, not recommended. Just do a Coinbase one and then maybe get yourself maybe 2,000 or 1,000. Or if you only have 500 remaining or that, 500 that you can spare or 200, just get yourself for $200 or so. So you have a little bit money and have a little bit cash and of course a little bit gold, like the real gold. And I think then you're already pretty prepared for it. Now, the hardware wallet is still a device. It might still work, a nuclear bomb, but it may not. So that's why I'm always recommending doing really like these old school offline wallets, these paper wallets. And what you do is you get yourself also paper that is hard to burn. You can also put it on the metal sheet. And what you do is when you do the offline address or when you do the offline wallet, like with a script, you get your private key and you're going to write the information on it too. Another trick is also when you do this, when you put everything on the screen and you write it down, but you want to make sure, for example, me, if I write down an address, a crypto address, or a private key or whatever, I always make at least 1 to 2, sometimes 3 mistakes. So that means if you give me your private key, it's probably going to be goodbye. And here's another trick you can do. You can use a Polaroid. I don't know if you guys still remember Polaroid. It's this thing where the picture comes out.
They're still around, and they're quite popular. Especially these it's like a mini Polaroid that is everyone. I can see everyone using.
Yes, and that one is perfect because you can't use an electronic device to take pictures of your private key or stuff like this. But you can use a Polaroid camera. So, and then, you have it in your hands in case you screw up the writing like I always do, and you're all set. So that's pretty much a way to have something that you can carry with you and where you don't rely on anything. So paper wallet is my recommendation. Hardware wallet, get the Bitbox, but I would probably stick with the paper wallet or both, but paper wallet is the most important one.
It's a situation after a nuclear war, right? And if it's a nuclear war, like we've also talked about before, like in the Princeton nuclear war simulation, also on YouTube.
Then you don't need any crypto anymore.
Well,
all what you need is a last good meal and a good drink. I would like to have some Brooklyn pizza, please.
Oh my God. I mean, the world will need, obviously, still a form of currency. Do you really think it is going to be a cryptocurrency, honestly? I think we're going to go back to frickin' rocks and shells, wampum, beads. I think we're going to go back to...
I think cryptocurrency is great. The only thing that you can universally use in the world, so I could take my little canoe and go over to Canada, and there's probably somebody who would take that crypto. I think that would stay intact because... But then, of course, now, here's the thing now. We all talk about, of course, cryptocurrency and the blockchain and so, but all these things are hosted, by the way. So Ethereum has a whole bunch of stuff on AWS, Amazon Web Services. So that's going to go down. That some of the other clouds are going to go down. And the computers will go down. And this is where our blockchain goes. Anyway, I'm just thinking about it. Wow, this is all a bad idea. Go back to the last meal thing, the Brooklyn pizza and a nice cold beer. Yeah. Oh my. So we're in a pickle. This is a pickle, by the way.
Well,
I think so.
It is I think there's a new stable coin. I mean, the world isn't stable, but our coins are getting more so.
Which one is the new one? Which one is the new one?
Terra, Terra Labs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, their founder said that they've just now added another 5,000 Bitcoin. And by the way, he put out this, I hate these tweets. I'm starting to really hate the tweets that the heads of these crypto companies put out. He actually wrote a tweet that went like this. I got to tell you, it in a way just I don't know how to is it me being super sensitive now? And
you are very super sensitive.
Do you think so? Because his tweet, this is what his tweet said. Today I watered my plants, wrote some
Oh my.
emails, bought
Dear Jesus.
230 million in Bitcoin, vacuumed the
What an
house,
idiot.
and had some McDonald's. Now I'm off to walk the dog. I want to slap the beat out of this guy.
Yeah, and at the end of the world, he is going to be the first one that will be hanged. And
Well,
because of these-
it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And you know what the funny thing is? I I'm a I like Terra, I think. I have to
That's,
say I think because I mean, so they're doing this new UST, which is now their Terra USD stablecoin, yeah, and their Bitcoin reserve is now
Yeah.
worth around 1.6 billion. They're trying to get to 10 billion so that they can obviously back their stablecoin, unlike frickin' Tether, which is now, they print willy-nilly constantly, and everyone knows there's not enough money back that thing. So, well, whatever the hell's backing that thing, no
I
one
don't
knows.
trust any of them. No, none of them has the money to back anything. It's all a bunch of baloney.
Of course, it's a bunch of baloney, but the funny and now on top of it, their Luna token, it hit a record high of around 119 last week because of this news, but then it's so far eased back to about 110. I don't know what it is now. And the same thing, of course, is happening by the way, with Bitcoin. Bitcoin has eased back down. But what's even more interesting, okay, so yeah, Terra, we talked about Terra. We know that Terra is putting out, so they're going after, putting out the stable coin. They've bought all this Bitcoin. That's probably what made Bitcoin obviously bounce up in the first instance, was the fact that everyone knew that Terra was buying and buying and buying because they wanted to create this fund to back up their stable coin. But I read this really interesting article today.
Everything moved into like fertilizer again. So
Yeah, but you see, that's really concerning, considering that a couple of traders have warned that there's something off with Bitcoin. What do you
I'm
think is not right? I mean, what do you think?
on Bitcoin in general.
Yeah,
For me, when I look at the whole crypto market right now, I think it's a mix between the staking, that's one thing, and then all of the stable coins and how they're being backed. And Bitcoin is just bouncing. Some people say it was the Russians or or the Ukrainians or whoever that creates all these bounces. But yeah, I don't trust it too much either. I still believe that this is going to crash hard. It's going to be in Ethereum especially too. Everybody thinks it goes to the moon. But yeah, it is kind of off how it's trading, up,
yeah,
down. But then if you look at the stock market is completely off as well. I mean, like, give you an example. Mosaic, it's fertilizer. One day it goes up 8%. Today it went up during the day. It went up to, I think, 7% also, almost up. And then it went up down to 3%. And if I look at my phone, hold on, give me a second. So today, some of them, so the markets, let me give you the markets. So the Dow Jones is negative 0.42. S&P 500 is 0.97 down, and Nasdaq 2.2. And so if you look at the stocks, you can always look like, how the world is acting is if you look like Kroger is a supermarket chain in the United States. So that went up almost 2%, and then aftermarket still goes up. So then you look at Mosaic, went actually up 2%. So before it was like 7, went all the way down to 2, and now aftermarket it's down 0.10, but it's still up, of course, compared to that. And then General Mills, so all of the food things are up. That means people are probably thinking of recession, cost of going higher. And then if you look at, for example, if you look at wheat and stuff like this, also everything is up. So everything is doing good with that. Oh, no, wait, I'm looking here. So some of the wheat is down, actually. So wheat is down. Then we have one wheat is up, and then some other one down. Coffee is down. Sugar is down. So, but I think the wheat is, when you look at the wheat, it's all going towards the Russia thing. Mosaic is the same thing. Mosaic is fertilizer. Nutrient is fertilizer. And Mosaic was like a few weeks ago, it was $48 or $45 or so. And the highest it reached, I think, today was 72. That's a lot for a boring stock. This is not an exciting, sexy thing. This is like fertilizer. Nobody buys fertilizer stocks.
Yeah.
Really nobody. So it is off. So with crypto and Bitcoin, I honestly have no idea. I just find these bounces very interesting because it goes like 46 and something. and then it smashed down and up and down, up and down, up and down. I don't know who are the buyers and who is always selling that stuff because, it's kind of like to get really high, there need to be a lot of buyers, a lot of people need to buy. But I don't really think they're gonna, you know what I mean? So I don't know. It's just weird, the whole
Yeah.
thing. Also, it went down to like it was down like almost the high 20s at one point of time, a couple of months ago, and it's kind of all over the place. And Ethereum was pretty down too. I think they went down to the 1900s or so a while ago.
But you still have people right now coming out in the news saying, "Oh, it's going to hit 100,000 this year." You know, they're giving these forecasts. I think I should also put a disclaimer right now. Nothing that Carmen or I are saying can possibly be construed as investment advice. You have to do your own homework, your own research, do your own due diligence, and if you still don't understand the crypto space, find yourself a registered financial advisor who knows about cryptocurrency, because this is only for information and entertainment, this program. And boy, are we trying to entertain you. What I don't understand is why you still have people coming out of the woodwork by the dozens who are like, oh no, they're shilling like mad, which by the way, I would have, honestly, I wish these people would shut up. They're like, no, it's going to hit 100,000 this year. What it does is, especially for people who are very new to the space, which there's a lot of our listeners, they're new to the space. They're going to listen to somebody who's a billionaire who's saying buy this stuff. And if it doesn't and it happens to slip and fall, this guy's still going to walk away with his billions, but the people who have followed his stupid advice, he's not there, I just want people to be responsible, make responsible decisions but I also want people to act responsibly, especially when they do have billions of dollars. And I do think that billionaires, even though they're probably very good at trying to, obviously they got there because they listened to their own advice, but it's very volatile still in this whole Bitcoin, in the whole crypto sector. So these people doing this to me,
Super volatile.
It's irresponsible.
Crime. Yeah, it is. It is. But if you look, just YouTube is doing like really a bad job. It's like there's some crypto stuff on it, and it starts with, like I said, the wallets. They're recommending wallets that are terrible, saying it's because they're gonna get money for it. The same with the investment stuff and other coins and tokens that are being pushed on social media, also of course on YouTube, and it's really all about money, and it's just a bunch of nonsense. So let's say person X has like 500 or 200 million in Bitcoin. Of course, they keep pumping it because it goes down a little bit, they have a nervous breakdown. So they are all full of it. And the problem is like for people that are new, it's or not even for some of them, they could be even a year in there and they believe for everything. And they didn't go through sound like it crashes. I remember this thing goes down all the time. You have to also understand that there is no great use case for Bitcoin right now. It's not going to be good for transactions. It's for it. And it's not going to be ever great for transactions. And people have shifted from this transaction thing, they have shifted to a store of value. Now, what kind of nonsense is that? It's a store of value. I mean, like, yapadu. Now, Ethereum, on the other side, has more value when you look at it in, how useful it is as a platform, what can be done with it. So that is probably a much better investment if you think about it. But then also you have the Binance Smart Chain, which is kind of like Ethereum, just on steroids. Lots of use cases for these projects that are there. But Bitcoin itself, for example, a store of value. If I have gold, that's a store of value right now. Bitcoin can do poof, and it's gone at one point of time. So when people invest all of their money, this is just crazy. Of course, you can make, and some people will say, of course, but I made a lot of money, and everybody makes a lot of money with it. But for people that are new to it, they just have to be really, really careful. And you have to always think of your money. Anything that you invest in cryptocurrency, invest it as a loss. So you're going to think of it and you're going to lose the money. That's really what you have to think about it.
Absolutely. Obviously Elon Musk, he made it very public when Tesla invested some of their corporate treasury, like 1.5 billion into Bitcoin. That obviously was very public. Then, of course, for some reason, which I'm still trying to figure out, that very intelligent man actually was shilling for Doge, which till this day and age, I still don't understand it. But what happened was, I don't know if you saw this, after this recent purchase of Twitter stocks and gaining a pretty substantial holding of Twitter, Elon Musk just did this massive purchase. I think he owns 9% of Twitter now.
2 billion, 3 billion?
I think it was, let me have a look.
It was a lot.
So he bought a $3 billion stake in Twitter, which, I mean, let's be fair, to him is like taxi money. It's nothing. I mean, the guy's a multi-billionaire, so $3 billion is nothing. And that $3 billion equals a 9.2% stake in Twitter.
Oh, he could have used it for like, schools for the poor or whatever, food stamps or some charity projects. Throwing it on stupid.
Well, but to be honest with you, America should be doing that for Americans in every country if they're not too busy, pissing their money away on other stupid and, lining the pockets of the politicians. We won't go there right now, though. So the whole thing is, oh man, I'd love to go there right now with the whole Zelensky Panama Papers, but I can't. But anyway, so the whole thing is,
my Lord,
after
you can mention it.
No,
don't shy away from it. Go for it.
No, I don't want to shy away from it. I want to do a whole podcast on it.
Yes. Okay, we can research it then a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I need to research it. So after Elon made this foray into buying the stocks in Twitter, Doge went up because all of the people in the crypto sphere and all the people who read articles saying everything else that Musk has done, they saw because he was shilling for Doge, they went, oh, well, wait a minute, hold on a second. He's making investments in this and doing that. Oh my God, we've got to buy Doge. And so Doge leapt up. The same, after the two. It's just crazy. But you see, it goes to shit. Bah, bah. I mean, everyone's just like sheep. It's so nuts.
So the stock market is like this, and the sheeps are usually going to be slaughtered at one point of time. It's always the same thing. And then, of course, it always sells when you say it's going to the moon. So it always, there's always these believers that, go for it. But yeah, I think it's just pushes. They're all pushes, really. And it's that point where the crypto space is really a good space. It's just very abused at the time now. It's it's very abusive, especially to people who are just starting to invest something or learn about it. Because the adoption of cryptocurrencies, it's very small still. So the new people are coming in, and these people are going to get slaughtered. And these people will say, "Oh, this sucks. This is no good." But it's really good. But this is what's going to happen at the end. Oh, and then you get also lots of regulation now. So think of our great President Biden if he didn't fall asleep on the way out.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out what the hell, that's if you can stay awake long enough. I'm still trying to figure out where the hell they're going with the regulation. But before we get into that, did you also see, by the way, the latest DeFi lender to be hacked? Did you know about Inverse? It was hacked and 15.6.
When was that?
Yeah, it was like a day or two ago. Yeah, they were basically...
It was working the whole time. Okay.
Yeah, 15.6 million stolen from Inverse Finance, which trades under INV. And basically the attacker targeted its anchor money market. This is the third multi-million-dollar hack of a DeFi protocol. Don't forget, we already went over the Ronin network, which is Axie. 625 million in crypto. And then you had the lending protocol, Ola Finance, which had a $3.6 million hack. So is anything safe?
No, you have to just always remember, you have to think of it as these are projects. These are not currencies or stuff like this. They're software projects. So, and some of them are, they're not, how can I say this? It's like when you build a car, you're going to build a racing car now. Or let's do a different example. Remember when they wanted to go to the moon? They were patching things together and they did not know if this thing is going to fly. And they said, dude, you're going to go to the moon now. They made it, they survived. But it's the same with crypto. Things are being created really in high speed. So there's not that much project management in there, not that much QA in there, et cetera, et cetera. These things are being pushed out. And then sometimes also the logic of these DeFi products don't make any sense. Lending against this and getting that. And the whole thing is like somebody says, oh, yeah, you're really smart. But at the end, it's like baloney and it falls apart. But in most cases, it's really like QA is missing and there are holes in there. And some of these things that the hackers, I don't even want to call them hackers, but let's call them hackers, that they find us, it's a really easy things. They don't really work their butt off for it. Like in other things, when they try to get into your computer, they do actually more work for that than they do to go into these DeFi things. So it's really, these projects are not mature enough. And not sure enough, but the money is in there. The problem with, hacking, so people are hacking into it, pump and dumps, people are taking the money and running, people are dying, as in your special case, the one that you like so much always, that you talk always about it, the good old Canadian one. It's, by the way, on Netflix now. I think
Yeah,
it's on
I
Netflix.
saw it,
That's the
but
show.
our podcasts are better than this program, but keep going.
I know your podcast is the best, by the way. So that comes down to, if somebody says to you, "Hey, invest in this." Yeah, you can. That's why you have to be so careful. Things are being put together with some paint and some brushes and some stickers, and they say we're gonna fly to the moon, and they might be falling apart on the way to the first cloud.
It's actually really interesting how the inverse attacker took this money. What he did was he took advantage of their price oracle. So using the oracle, so obviously the oracle, so in case anyone doesn't know what an oracle is, it's basically the way that any blockchain has like a link to information that's not kept on that particular blockchain. It's normally kind of like an API that they use so that they can grab information in from somewhere else and then utilize it on the blockchain. So the attacker used the oracle in this way. Listen to what they did. They tricked the oracle into thinking that the price of Inverse's INV token was extraordinarily high and then took out multi-million-dollar
Loans?
on Anchor using this hyperinflated INV as collateral.
Wow, some good. Congratulations, guys, who did it.
That's
job.
incredible. I mean, I would think
Wow.
that's a very easy attack and one that could be very easily replicated to kind of perform. I mean, and it is pretty genius.
You're absolutely right, Aviva. So the problem that we have really is that, think of these things, there's a lot of money in these projects, okay? But it's almost like going to the moon. Like in the beginning when we went, they're falling apart and exploding and people are burning up. And This is pretty much what we have in DeFi. So there are lots of DeFi projects. So the project management is poorly. QA, non-existent, not too much. And you're thinking, hey, is this going to work? I get 86,000 API for it, and maybe I do, maybe I don't. Who the hell knows these days? Problem again is really the project itself, poorly managed, But now here comes kicker 2. What did they say? If you build something, if you look at the speed that things are being built, it's kind of like this is the cost of it. So DeFi is like really like burning really hot, and products and projects are just being pushed out. So meaning there's a lot of things that are just falling on the ground, and they're kind of like, garbage at the end. So you're going to see probably lots more of these hacks down the road. This year especially, I think, you're going to see a lot more like that, because there's a lot of things that are kind of easy, and people are looking for this right now. Because the last one, you remember the $700 million one? That was already an easier one. So people are going through GitHub and everywhere and just checking out how this coding is, if they can find any holes in there. They take the low-hanging fruit, and then they're going to go from there and take the money. Because think of it like this. If I rob a bank, I'm in America, police is chasing me, they're shooting at me, and it's all a big mess. I can do this here. I'm just going to look every day, spend 8 hours, look through code, and don't even have to be that bright for it. Okay, I can take a course, like a $20 course on Udemy or something, and learn that stuff quickly. And then I look for it, and whoops, and I have $15 million or $50 million. It's a big difference. It's great for criminals. That's just what I'm thinking. Terrorist fundraising is not really done on the dark web. It's done on the clear web. You can all go there. It's like super easy. And what they do is they use the wallets. Each time you make a donation, the wallet address, the script gives you a new wallet address. Each time it creates another wallet, each time. And there's only one transaction in that, and then it goes to another one. It's easy to capture because you don't find really anymore the centralized everything goes to, for example. There's so many terrorist sites out there right now that are on the clear web where you don't have to do anything. And I can send you some links too. It's all there. You don't have to go to the dark web. There's not enough foot traffic. And then Monero, what the hell? What are people doing with Monero? Because if you look around, when you look at money laundering,
Yeah.
you know, what is exchanged? Do you find any Monero there? No, it's Bitcoin. In some cases it's ETH, but it's really Bitcoin most of the time. Nobody touches the Monero. So that's an old
Right.
FBI thing too. The FBI always talked about, oh yes, Monero. They're all using Monero, but they don't. If you go to the markets, they don't use Monero.
By the way, Floyd Mayweather is coming back with his own NFT collection.
Well, Sylvester Stallone too, but wow.
Well, Sylvester
Oh my
Stallone
God.
was never in trouble with the SEC. Floyd, don't forget, what he did was
What did he do?
he was touting one of the cryptocurrencies,
Oh,
and
he did?
he
I
didn't.
didn't
Yeah,
even know.
he was shilling for ICOs. So basically,
Oh, he did.
yeah, he shilled a lot for ICOs. He was doing exactly what Elon Musk is doing, except for the difference is that Elon, I don't think, was getting paid for anything, obviously, whereas Floyd Mayweather took about 300,000 US dollars for shilling ICOs, including Centra, Hubie Network, and Stocks. And all of these are failed ICOs.
Oh,
Centra,
wow.
of course, was a confirmed scam, and their founders served prison sentences. Stocks was sued by several investors for fraud, but they settled out of court, but is still under criminal investigation.
Oh,
And Hubie's HBD token is basically it's a non-starter for all purposes. But
oh,
because
that's
he
bad.
was shilling and he didn't make anyone aware that he was taking the money for shilling. He was banned by the SEC for promoting tokens for a period of 3 years, and then he was fined $300,000 plus interest, and a whole bunch of other stuff probably, which I can't remember. But at the end of the day, what I find interesting is that in 2021, Mayweather was promoting Ethereum Max with freaking Kim Kardashian, and now. But you see, they're both now facing a class action lawsuit after Ethereum Max dropped 98% from its all-time high. But, I mean, it's actually incredible that somebody as rich as Kim Kardashian would want to, and also who apparently is a lawyer. I don't know if you know this, but Kim Kardashian apparently
She is?
graduated from, I don't know if she graduated or not, but
How do you know all these things? I'm just amazed with you.
Yeah.
You are like a funnel of knowledge.
well, that's because I read a lot of crap. But apparently,
Oh,
Kim
okay.
Kardashian is a lawyer. So I'm amazed
Oh.
that somebody who's wealthy and has some idea of the law would actually put themselves in the firing line of the SEC
Greedy.
by actually
Greedy.
shilling crypto. And this isn't even the only cryptocurrency I don't think that she's involved with. So what are these people doing? And you know what's worse? What's worse is that people follow them like sheep. And it comes back to this time and time again. And boy, am I just so, I did watch, by the way.
I get the feeling you don't like Kim. Kim
No, I
Kardashian.
could give a monkeys. I just care a lot about,
Oh.
it's like when we're watching the Quadriga CX, as we all know, I've done many episodes on the Quadriga CX scandal on the scam.
And you will get them one day. One day you will put them in
Gerald's
prison.
alive.
I know that.
Gerald's alive. How the hell they didn't exhume that body and do an autopsy if there is a body? I don't understand that. That would just clear up everything. No one's ever seen a body till this day. And I'm sorry. I don't care if they flew to India and they talked to a doctor there because it's ridiculous. Exhume the damn body.
That
But
wife, I don't believe a word this woman is saying.
Oh, I don't
Nope.
believe a word anyone is saying. I believe nothing. I believe nothing. And even when I see it, unless it's in person, I don't even believe pictures or video anymore. And if you're smart, you
I
won't.
want to touch that dead body and I want to see it right in front of me.
Well,
Yep.
exactly. I mean, no joke. But the whole point is that like you really have to be very, very skeptical before you can be very supportive. And
Yeah.
you can't just jump on all these things, especially because somebody famous told you to do it or somebody wealthy told you to do it. Because you also have to remember that a lot of these people who are wealthy from these cryptocurrencies are wealthy because like it is kind of in a way like a pyramid scheme. A lot of these cryptos where they need for you to buy it so it'll push the price of the coin up. So you have to really be very careful. Don't do it just because someone said. It has to have a proper project behind it. It has to be a real thing. It has to have some real people behind it. And I just think that's incredible that, I mean, it's almost like Mayweather wants to prove a point in a way. It's almost like two fingers up to the SEC, which fine if he wants to do it, but I just think it takes some brass balls to, after being fined and in the firing line of the SEC, to still go back and shill for anyone. Don't you think so?
Maybe he's out of money. I don't know. I thought he would be really rich. He wouldn't be needing all these things. But then I didn't pay any attention. I saw some of the fights, and that was it. So I didn't even think about him in crypto or him and being broke or so. So I don't know. But he must be broke, I guess. Otherwise, why the hell would he do that for a couple $100,000 getting in all that trouble, you know?
There was apparently Mayweather also did an earlier NFT project called Floyd's World, where he made $5 million. But of those 10,000 NFTs that were sold, almost all of them lost their value completely. And the majority of them are now selling at the floor price of 0.00 something ether. So, you know, is this an alternative reality maybe we're living in? Maybe, or an alternate reality? I mean, maybe this is like we're all dreaming and we're going to all wake up on Mars driving a Tesla with the Doge dog next to us in the passenger seat. I don't frickin' know. I mean, it's just so weird. Don't you think it's all weird now?
What happened is we drove, it was 1984, we drove together in a car and we had an accident. And we were in a coma since then. And otherwise, how do you explain that Donald Trump was president? And how do you explain he's running again? And how do you explain Joe Biden? How do you explain that?
No. Wait a minute. Back up.
He's saying it every day.
No. Saying it is one thing, but is it really real?
Yeah. He's gonna be elected president. I'm telling you, he's gonna win too because we have Sleepy Joe there, and Sleepy Joe is just gonna be sleeping.
Wait a minute, I'm looking this up.
So,
President Trump.
You can look
running,
it up, girl.
Wait a minute, I don't believe you. Running, and he made
the great Donald Trump is back. I don't know if you made it official, but you know he's gonna run. Trump 2024. Our boy is on again.
Oh my God, Joe Biden said that he's going to be running again in 2024.
Yeah, I speak truth. Mm-hmm.
No, it says here he doesn't know if he's running again.
Yeah, he's gonna run again.
Carmen, thanks again for coming on to Crypto and Blockchain Talk. Every time you come on, we always have a really interesting conversation, and you're just amazing.
Thank you very much. And to the listeners, keep your head up, smile, smile, smile. And things are not going to get worse. And if they do, you just smile a little bit more. It's going to be all right.
Absolutely. I agree with that. So I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in to Crypto and Blockchain Talk. Please remember to tell your friends and family that they too can listen to this very positive and uplifting podcast.
Oh my.
On one of the...
Okay, this is not going to go anywhere.
On one of many. It is positive and uplifting, I know normally, but this episode, I don't know, take it as it is. They can listen to this podcast on one of over 70 different podcasting platforms. The list is on cryptoandblockchaintalk.com. We have podcasting platforms. They are listed including iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, SoundCloud, Verbal, and so many more. Furthermore, this podcast is also streamed on our sister radio station, crypto24radio.com. Crypto24radio.com plays 24/7 around the world. Don't forget, you can always reach us through our social media accounts, which are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. But we love to hear from you directly, so please email us at education@savvydigital. That's education@savvy, S-A-V-I-I, digital.com. We love the fact that you tune into us and you give us your listening time as well as just your time in general. So I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. It really means the world to us. So please be safe, take care, and goodbye for now.